Hey everyone! I'm actually just using this as a hard surface, but I want to just talk about some of the steps for this project. So I want you to be as creative as possible, so I really don't want to limit you. So as far as like the kind of bird that you make and the kind of collage paper you use, that's up to you. So this bird right here, I actually just made using leftover watercolor paper that I always put paper underneath me when I work, and so the paper that's underneath me gets lots of like watercolor and oil pastel and pen on it, and then I actually, instead of throwing that paper away, I save it and I use it for collage. So this is one of those pieces of paper, and so I saved it and used it for collage. Remember, your bird can have a long neck, a short neck, a huge beak, a tiny beak, a small head, a big head. That's up to you, okay? There's so many different types of birds, and it doesn't have to be a real bird. It can be a real bird if you want it to be. It can be a make-believe if you want it to be, okay? You can make tail feathers. We're going to use the feather process that I showed you to make wings or tail feathers, or like plumage, or if you're making a peacock, maybe you even want to put feathers all around the outside. You can experiment with making different types of bodies for your bird. Also, I want you to know that if you really want to make multiple birds, I'm fine with that. And if you want to make like a mom and a baby bird, or two big birds together, that's fine as well. I really just want you to be creative and express yourself. Use this feather technique. Reuse any paper you have to save paper. And, you know, I've told you guys that I save old paper and scraps and I reuse it to make my bird. Now, if you're just kind of lost and you don't even know where to start, I would just start out by taking a piece of paper, and you can use either pencil or marker, whatever you have, and you can draw a shape for the body, okay? And what I did was I drew a shape for the body, and then I cut it out, and then I actually, when I put it on paper, I didn't really like the way it looked, so then I cut away more, and then I added some pieces. So that's the beautiful thing about collage, is it's not like drawing. You know, when you draw, you have to erase when you mess up. When you collage, you can just cut more paper away or add more paper to your piece, okay? Also, if you don't have a lot of paper on the house, I encourage you to use the backside of paper bags, cardboard, junk mail, old notes even, and then, you know, you get your body shape of your bird however you want it, okay? And then you just keep adding to it, okay? So, you know, here's another scrap of paper. Maybe I'll make a beak out of this paper, okay? And, you know, maybe I don't really like the way that head looks, so maybe I cut away more, okay? And so play around with the shapes, okay? You're gonna be using probably a combination of organic shapes, things that mimic nature. They're not perfectly round, they don't use perfectly straight lines, and a combination of geometric shapes, like this is a triangle, okay? It has perfectly straight lines. Also, if you want to just like experiment with creating paper for your collage, a lot of the paper I use for collage is paper that I marked up with my daughter. So my daughter, I'm finding out, loves to draw like I do, and so we draw together every day. So here's an example, like this, on this side she scribbled, and on this side I created a bunch of different patterns. Did some ombre, different types of line, cross hatching, and I just did this all with colored pencil, dark to light. And I will, I'll attach some colored pencil techniques to this assignment if you want to create some paper like this to use for collage, because it could really make for a beautiful bird. Like if I cut this out right now and start creating the shape of a bird. It could make for a really beautiful bird, okay? Also, you could use this to make feathers as well, okay? All right, the sky's the limit. I can't wait to see what you creative kids come up with, and we'll talk more in Google Meet.